Welcome to the Bad Tutors podcast. If you're here for the newest, up-to-date, and accurate information about the nerdy topics that are near and dear to your heart, well, let me tell you, you ended up in the wrong place. Here, we are all about hot takes and grandiose displays of misinformation, so stick along for the ride and you might just blow a blood vessel or two. So Tyler, as always, we're very timely and very topical. So we're going to be talking about Starfield, which releases next week. It's the most up-to-date thing, so we should really talk about that, I think. What are your opinions?
Yeah, I've heard that it's definitely going to be Game of the Year.
That's my assumption as well. So that's why we're going to definitely be talking about Baldur's Gate 3 instead, because that is the game that we've actually been playing.
Right.
So what we're going to kind of do here is both of us are very big fans of Divinity Original Sin 2, and at least to some extent fans of the original Divinity. I'm not sure how much of it you've played, to be honest, but I'm guessing at least a little bit here and there, similar to myself.
I haven't played any of it, actually.
Oh, you haven't played any of it? Interesting.
No. Only 200 hours in Divinity Original Sin 2.
Okay. The first one is good. I wish I had finished it before I finished Divinity 2, because it's dated might be the wrong word, but like you really feel all of the improvements that they made in the second one for sure. But Larian Games just came out with their newest game, which is Baldur's Gate 3. It's based in correct me if I'm wrong on this, it's just strictly based in Wizards of the Coast, Sword Coast, D&D 5e, right? Yeah, Faerun.
Yeah.
So we just want to kind of talk about our current feelings on Baldur's Gate 3, as well as kind of comparing and contrasting it with Divinity 2, because we both like that game so much. I personally easily put it in my minimum top 5 games, if not, honestly, maybe my top 3 games of all time with Divinity Original Sin 2. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's up there for me. I haven't really sat down and thought about my top 10 favorite games. I would have to really sit down and figure out which ones I enjoyed the most. But
yeah, I don't have a solid list other than I know RimWorld is at the top. That's my only consistent one, is I know RimWorld is my favorite game, but outside of that, it's I have a lot that I really like. But what do you think we should start with? Should we start with just talking about Baldur's Gate a little bit, probably lead into that, and then go into some comparing and contrasting?
Sure. So Baldur's Gate is a role-playing game that tries to emulate 5th edition tabletop role-playing games from Dungeons and Dragons. And I think it does a very good job, mostly because all of the mechanics are also found in 5th edition for the most part.
I completely agree. I was obviously going into this game expecting it to be good and expecting to like it, but I was honestly kind of shocked at how well, at least on the combat side of things, when you're fighting enemies in the game, it really feels like you're playing Dungeons and Dragons. They pulled it off so well, and I'm very impressed with it, because I was expecting, I guess, a little bit more of a Divinity style of combat, just with the flavor and the skin of 5th edition, but they really designed it super well. You can tell there was a lot of love and care put into it. I can tell that the people at Larian probably play some form of D&D and probably have for a very long time, because everything feels so accurate to how you would be playing in D&D. In Divinity, for a very brief comparison, you could kind of fuck around a little bit if you weren't playing on the hardest difficulty and just do some quirky stuff and quirky setups, and it would carry you through a good majority of the game. But in Baldur's Gate 3, you really have to be playing well. It is a difficult game. I wouldn't say it's too difficult, but you can't just fuck around and not think about things. You actually have to plan and use the environment and the resources they give you very well to succeed.
Yeah, if you are not playing on the easiest difficulty, you have to try and use every ounce, like every little bit of your turn that you can squeeze some sort of action economy out of, just like in 5th edition. Not using a bonus action on one of your turns is super problematic. Not being in the correct position is so punishing. The only thing that I wish Baldur's Gate took more from Divinity is more environmental effects. So you have fire ground, you have like acid ground and stuff like that. And you can do some interesting things with like water and lightning. But all it really does is it makes them take twice the amount of damage from lightning, which is really strong. Don't get me wrong. But I think I prefer the Divinity stun.
Oops, all fire.
Yeah. Oops, all fire, or like just everything that's on the ground you can interact with one way or the other.
I very much agree with that. Like, I've hardly interacted with any of the like big environmental effects like that when it comes to like, there's a whole action, there's a button for dip, as in you dip your weapon in something, and I haven't used that a single time in my 70-hour run so far. Like, I've found like I've forgotten about using it at this point, to be perfectly honest, but like in the first 4 or 5 hours I was like, oh, can I dip it in like blood or something? And it's like, no, that doesn't count for anything. That doesn't actually have any effect. So like, it's just something that I've never even used, where like you said in Divinity, every element had some kind of ground effect that you could make at the very least, or some kind of cloud effect most of the time.
Yeah.
And like, it just doesn't feel like Baldur's Gate has that quite as much.
I think it's restricted by 5th edition, but that doesn't mean that I don't wish it was in the game.
I agree, yeah.
You can like dip your weapons in fire, and then when you shoot something, they take a little bit of fire damage, or if like they're on oil or something, the oil explodes. But
that makes sense.
Yeah, and like you can sort of carry around a lit candle or a lit torch and drop it on the ground before a fight and dip your weapons in that. But it's kind of like, what's the point?
Yeah, it's a mixed bag of like, right before we started recording, I was telling you that I found 2 items that gave me an extra D4 on thrown attacks. And I'm going like, oh, cool, an extra 2d4, but then it's like, oh, you could get an extra d4 off lighting your arrow on fire, and I'm just like, what's a d4 really matter anyways? And it's like, it's the same amount of die, but like the extra action economy and stuff on it, I think that's the biggest thing of just like, it's an extra action economy. I'm playing a Duergar monk, and I believe it's the Duergar that inherently have the enlarge ability. But it takes a fucking standard action. So if I like get jumped into a combat, it's like, do I really need to be large, even though it would increase my damage? And it's like, no, not really. Like, if I happen to have a free turn, sure, I'll do it. But like, if I don't, I get through a combat fine without it. You know what I mean?
I think you and I were talking about there's an item that gives you the shock like ability, or I can't remember what it's called, but basically you gain electrical charges, and after you get to 5, your next attack deals an additional d8 lightning damage.
Yep.
Those weapons seem so cool. Like all of that equipment in Act 1, it seems like it should be like the Bacchus armor. You know, where it's like, this is the set that you acquire, and then like one character is just decked out, and this is all that they do. I have not found that to be the case. It just seems so tough to just constantly get it ramped all the way up to the point where you're dealing that extra D8. And if you're not doing that, you're dealing like an extra 1 shock damage on any attack.
Exactly. That is one thing that we have talked about before, is in comparison to Divinity 2, the magic items, I don't want to say they're bad because they're not. Some of them are just so hyper specific, and like I'm just now getting to the point where I'm now finding like I said, like 2 items that increase throne damage or something like that. Like I'm finally getting items that combo with each other. But the first like 5 magic items I found, it was like, okay, this does nothing. Like it's pretty fucking useless. Or like you get the necklace of dancing lights, and it's like, okay, cool. I get that you were trying to
Yeah.
make lighting a thing, and like dark vision should be a thing. It's 5th edition. I've lit a torch 1 time in the tutorial dungeon and never again the whole time, and I have not
Yeah.
found a detriment 1 single time where I went, I can't see something, because you hold alt and it shows you all the items in the area.
Yeah, well, most likely your entire party has dark vision just because of like the races that
Also true.
all of the iconics are. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're not a human on your avatar, which is what your custom character is called,
Yeah,
you most likely have dark vision to some extent as well. So
that's
lighting
true.
doesn't really matter.
I like we said, I enjoy that they did it, and like it's in the game, like it's cool in theory, but it just doesn't seem super impactful when it comes down to it, really.
I think the main thing that I have a problem with is just in Divinity, your build came from your weapons more
Yeah.
than where you were allocating your points and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And in Baldur's Gate, your build comes almost strictly from your spell selection, your class selection, and like maybe one super impactful item that you have. But all that being
Mm-hmm.
said, neither of us have really played at all past Act 1.
Yeah, I
So
was
that's sort of.
just telling Tyler there is. I don't think this is too much of a spoiler. We are going to be avoiding any kind of story beat spoilers for Baldur's Gate. Divinity, maybe not. You've had some time to play that, and
A
we've
long time,
spoiled it
yeah.
before on this podcast, I'm sure. So we'll be a little looser with those spoilers, but I don't think this would be huge to say. There is a point in the main story where you have to pick diverging paths that it doesn't seem like it actually matters now that I've done one of them, but I just got through one of them earlier today when I was playing to like re-remember everything that I wanted to talk about for this episode. So like that's where I got to, which is not very far into the game, I don't believe, and I'm like 60 to 70 hours in, not counting idle time on Steam.
So I was playing with my friend from England today, and he
Mm-hmm.
told me that he's in Act 3. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy. And we're like fucking around with new characters in Act 1, and we're just doing things that he never did.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how did you get all the way to Act 3 without,
Yeah, when
fighting these monsters over here?
mm-hmm. Yeah, I explored the shit out of the opening area. Like think I've done. I won't say I did all of the quests because I know for a fact that I fucked a couple of them up. But like I have done most of the fights at the bare minimum. Like you are the one that told me to go fight the harpies above the grove,
Yeah.
and there is a quest tied to that with a girl, and she was dead when I got there, and I know she's not supposed to be dead. So one thing that I have heard from the game, I don't know specifically, someone I was talking about the game with told me this, of the long resting mechanic, which is something new is in big air quotes, into Baldur's Gate. It's not something that was in Divinity 2. In Divinity 2, after you got out of a fight, you hit the bedroll button and healed the full instantaneously. It's the most broken mechanic in the game, or the most useful mechanic. It's not broken. It's how the game functioned. But
Yeah. Every
in
fight's balanced around you having full health, anyways. So,
right, where in Baldur's Gate, as we said, it's based off of 5th edition, so you get 2 short rests and a long rest for every day. And once you've realistically, once you've blown your 2 short rests and or need spell slots. If you have a caster, you take a long rest, expend some supplies, and then have everything back just as you would in a normal game of 5th edition. And I will definitely give them credit for the long resting system, strictly on the fact that when I saw you had to have like camp supplies to be able to long rest, at first I was like, oh, this might be a little tricky and kind of a pain in the ass to deal with, but you're given so much food that it's like kind of a non-issue, but I don't mind. That is not something that I wanted to be like struggling with. You know what I mean? Like that would have made the game tedious, not realistic in an enjoyable way. That would have just been an annoying thing that you have to go and gather food to go find this shit type of thing, you know?
Yeah, and I think where you were starting with this long rest thing on is if you long rest too many times before achieving certain things, the game does not wait for you to walk into a certain area. Like, things are going to happen around you.
Yeah,
which
progresses.
Is cool.
Yeah, it's nice to see a world progress regardless of you as the main character, so you're not just constantly fucking suffering from main character syndrome. Like, you can fuck up in this game and block yourself out of a quest line like I did by not doing it in time, which is kind of cool. I like something like that, even if it's a little annoying based only on the fact that I want to see all of the content in a game when I'm playing it like this. But that makes it a lot more dynamic. Like, that Harpy fight, I probably could have got a lot more XP if I did the quest as well, but I already fucked myself out of it, so I only got the combat XP, which was fine, but it's a lot less than if I would have actually done the full thing with it.
Yeah, and I think it's not going to be an issue for most people, but there are a couple of instances or builds where I think it's going to be way more problematic. If you play a druid and you are focusing on casting, you're going to be fucked because you have no way to recover your spell slots. Whereas a warlock, wizard, and sorcerer, the three like big casters, all regain spell slots in some manner. Sorcerers are sorcery points, wizards are their arcane recovery, and then warlocks get spell slots back on short rests. So those ones are almost exclusively casters, with the exception of warlock could be a pact with the blade.
Yeah.
But like druid, I think if you're only focusing on casting and not wild shaping and just being a bear and hitting face, or changing into something else and fucking around, the issue that you run into is it's really, really hard to manage your spell slots, especially early in the game.
Yeah, it's definitely tough early if you have a couple casters. I started out with, I guess, technically 3 casters at first, because I was running myself as a warlock, picked up Gale, and then picked up the other warlock, Will, and it was just too much. I was not doing nearly enough damage, which is something else with I'll say character creation on whole, is you can't make a bad build and be successful either. We've talked about this not on the podcast, but when we've talked about the Pathfinder CRPGs, you can't make a bad Pathfinder character and win Kingmaker, or I assume Wrath of the Righteous either.
Yeah.
Like, you actually have to be playing a real efficient D&D character to be good. And I mean, obviously I like that. We play a lot of D&D. We know how to build characters that aren't dog shit. And like, I think it would be hard to like really fuck up a character in Baldur's Gate 3, but you can certainly fuck up your party comp. And if you don't have a good party comp, it's going to be really fucking tough. Like, I'm not running a healer, and there are a lot of fights that are way more brutal than they should be because I have no healing. Or I have one item that gives healing. Sorry.
What a choice. I will say in Baldur's Gate, you find so many items, so many just like slightly magical items or
Mm-hmm.
uh pieces of armor, and there's not a glaring red indication that what you just equipped you're not proficient with. And if you don't notice that
Yeah.
you aren't proficient with something, you're gonna get fucked over. You have
I
disadvantage on attacks if you're using a weapon that you're not
mm-hmm.
proficient with. If you are not proficient with the armor, I can't remember what the issue is, but I know um, if
uh
you if
armor
you're
will also give you disadvantage because I ran into that playing monk. I equipped a piece of light armor that I thought was a piece of clothing, and I
yeah
was like, why do I have disadvantage on every attack? Because I did it for like
yeah
one round, and I was like, oh, there must just be like some environmental thing, or like the enemy has some ability that's giving me disadvantage that I didn't notice. And then I was like, wait, do I just have the wrong armor equipped? And I did. And that completely fucks you.
yeah. My first character that I played, I tried to do a build that was more of a sort of meme like Divinity Original Sin 2 build
Mm-hmm.
where I wanted to exploit knocking people prone.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but you can't really like the best way to do that. I think is to be a frenzy barbarian and throw things at them,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
if they fail a saving throw, they get knocked prone.
Yep.
Um, but it's not really super exploitative in the way that like Divinity Original Sin 2, the warfare tree, you can just smash people down prone if they don't have any armor, and it's
Mm-hmm.
good crowd control. Um,
And in Divinity, being prone was way more detrimental than it is in Baldur's Gate. Where Baldur's Gate, it's only, I assume it's part of your. I don't get knocked prone all that often, so I don't know the actual effect. I assume it's as it is in the tabletop. It takes half of your movement to stand up, right?
I think so.
Or
You
maybe
might also
it might
lose
take
your
all of your movement.
action.
Or you definitely don't, because I knock an enemy prone and they stand up and just hit me anyways, and I'm like, why did I even knock you fucking prone? Like, it didn't stop them from doing anything, and I don't have the feats to take attack of opportunities on that. Where in Divinity, it was part of your, or I guess something to explain for, since we're going to be comparing combat a little bit. As we've said, Baldur's Gate 3 operates on 5th edition rules of you have an amount of movement speed, an action, a bonus action, and a reaction, or maybe a couple reactions. I haven't quite sussed out exactly how that works. It feels like I can take multiple reactions for different abilities, but I'm not sure. Um, and in Divinity Original Sin 2, you just had a pool of action points that went up to 6 if you don't have the gift bag features turned on, if I recall.
I think it's
And
8 if you are banking them in between turns.
well, no, there was a gift bag add-on that I believe made your maximum AP 8. I think the maximum is 6 baseline, and you get 4 per turn, and then can bank them, if I recall correctly.
Oh, maybe that's true.
But that is the system of every round you start with 4 action points, and you, if you don't use them at the end of your turn, they roll over into the next turn, so you can like set up buffing turns of like, maybe you only use 2 AP this turn to do a couple buffs, and then the next turn you have 6 AP to like
Just
absolutely wreck
attack.
shop
Yeah.
and unload on somebody. Where in Baldur's Gate 3, it's strictly you have your actions per turn, barring like spells and things and class features. There isn't getting more action economy. Back to the original point, now that that's been explained, in Divinity, it took action points to stand up. So, like, if you take someone's action points, they now, if they were going to do 2 attacks, and now they can only do 1, where they can just always continue to attack in Baldur's Gate 3, which is, like, it just made prone not feel as useful, realistically, to me.
So I looked it up.
Mm-hmm.
The pros of knocking an enemy prone is it breaks concentration.
Oh,
Until
that's
they
actually
stand up,
huge.
they
Okay.
can't take reactions or bonus actions or actions, but they'll just stand up automatically on their turn. Um,
Gotcha.
and if you
Breaking
attack a prone
concentration is
target,
massive.
yeah, if you attack a prone target, it has advantage.
Okay, so if you set it up early
And
in the turn and everyone
yeah,
else can use it, that makes sense.
they get disadvantage on strength and dex saving throws, and then they require half of their movement to stand up. But
Gotcha.
it
Okay.
it seems a lot more detrimental to um, players
Yeah.
because if you're if you're if one of your party members falls unconscious and you bring them back with a healing spell, they lose their action.
Yep. Which is brutal.
It's so tough. Like
Mhm.
I just leave them down. I'm like, I'll get to you
Yeah.
later.
Unless I have the safest of openings to get out
Yeah,
of it, is in like another thing. This is something that I really like, actually. Divinity turn order. I'm going to talk about turn order here. Divinity was just like your straight initiative roll, and then everyone was in their turn. In Baldur's Gate 3, you can have like blocks of your own characters where, like, say there's 6 people in a combat and all 4 of your party members. Say one of your party goes first, another one goes third, but then the last 2 go fifth and sixth, which means that either one of them can take turn 5 and 6. You get to pick who acts first, which is really nice that they allowed that, because it lets you set those kind of things up now where you couldn't before. And I really like that system a lot. That's been very nice to be able to play around with.
yeah. I think let's see. I think the way that I would rather it be is you can delay a turn.
Yeah,
Um,
that was in Divinity and it's not in this, and I feel it very frequently.
because a lot of the times I will go before like my fighter, and the monster that goes in between me and my fighter is standing uh
Two turns away,
yeah, like 2 turns away.
or like
And
a
if I just
dash
delay
action
my
away.
turn, yeah, if I delay my turn, they'd get right up to the fighter, and then I have my fighter and then me, and
Yeah,
that would be ideal for me. But I agree, like the block turns is amazing. It makes multiplayer very smooth because a lot of the
oh,
times,
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
when you guys roll together, um, you just take your turn at the same time. So it's not always just 4 people taking a turn in the turn order. It's like 2 here and 2 here, or all 4 of you at once, and then the enemies. So I think that was very well done.
Yeah, it's a very good addition to the game for sure. I really enjoy it. Almost all of the systems that they put in, I'm really, really into, and I think they implemented them all very well. I will say the one system that I don't like is, I think if you're in camp, you should be able to look at the inventory of every person in the camp. That's
Yeah,
been fucking annoying because, like,
yeah,
it's defaulted to, like, I have, so in my party, I have myself, Karlak, Gale, and then Astarian is my flex of, normally he's there, but if I happen to need someone else, he gets swapped out. But that means that any item that I have on him is now, air quotes, lost when I switch off of him at that point.
yeah. It's just a
But
lot to keep track of.
yeah, there's a lot of inventory management, and it's not necessarily the smoothest thing, which is kind of a pain in the ass, but like it's not enough for me to like actually be like, oh, this is criticism and like I fucking fix it. But like Oh, it'd be kind of nice because it's just okay. Every item that I know I'm going to want has to stay on either myself or Carlock because I know neither of them will leave the party. So it's fine. They can be wherever and it's okay. And they have the camp inventory. You can like send your items to camp. Divinity 2 had a similar thing once you got to a certain point in the story as well. But it's just so much more of a pain. It's all in this one chest, and scrolling through chests is hell. It's so bad. It doesn't work very well. Like, you scroll like multiple pages at once when you don't want to, and then like skip over the item that you want to be grabbing. So you're just like, I know it's here. Where did it go? Because you can't like. The fix realistically is let me expand the screen. You let me expand multiple hotbars. Let me expand a storage inventory as well. Don't show me a 4x4. Let me expand it to like a 10x10 so I can see everything all at once.
Yeah. You want to talk about any sort of things that surprised you with the game?
Anything that surprised me with the game? I don't know if it surprised me inherently, but I'll say that I didn't look up anything about Baldur's Gate. I didn't watch any of the trailers. I didn't watch anything at all. So seeing that it was about mind flayers was actually really interesting to me. I think it was you that I said this to before when I first started playing of I feel like mind flayers were like everywhere for a while and like I got kind of bored of them. But then they went away and like seeing them come back in this, I was like, oh fuck yeah, this is like a really cool idea. And like I like how they're implementing this. And the illithid powers, while I think a lot of them are pretty underwhelming, I really like that. It's not a system I was expecting, and I really liked seeing it, and I like kind of figuring things out with it. Like I have a couple combos that I have set up that are like pretty fucking good, and I'm really enjoying it, and I really like that system and wasn't expecting to see something like it.
I wish with the illithid powers, when you respec your character so that you can redo your build, I wish those reset too.
Oh, do they not? I haven't
No.
respect since I've like started using them heavily. I didn't even think about that. Because like for the only two that I really use as active abilities, or a couple passives that I have, of course, are the one that lets you add an extra d4 on every attack while taking a d4 psychic damage at the start of your turn. I
Yeah,
have that on my monk because she's
of
making
course.
three
Yeah.
attacks in a turn, and it's absolutely fucking insane. And on Gale, I have the if you have a concentration spell, you can do the one big crazy spell and heal off of it.
Yeah.
Because there are just he has like 6 fucking concentration spells. Also, a lot more spells are concentration than I thought they would be. Like Enlarge is a concentration spell. And I don't know
Yeah.
if that's true in 5e, but like that's a little bit annoying, I'm not gonna lie.
I think it is,
Okay, I
but
mean, fair enough
I'm
if
not
it
sure.
is. Because like
Like
that's one
concentration isn't a thing in Pathfinder, like hardly at
there are
all.
like 3 spells that use it,
Yeah.
yeah. Where in when I'm going through, I have Carlock, who is the barbarian still. I haven't respec her into something else. It would be sick to have enlarge on her all the time, but also Witch Bolt exists.
Yeah.
And Witch Bolt is pretty fucking nuts when you get it up to a higher level. Like
Witch
I
Bolt
think
is
I've
just
been
so
underestimating
free.
that
Like
spell.
your spell slots, like you're saving your spell slots, and it's so free. It's amazing. And as if you hit with the first one, you just keep hitting. It's
Yeah, it
fucking
can't
awesome.
miss once it's applied, right? I haven't
Right.
just been getting like really lucky on that.
No, what like you just have to hit the first time, and as long as you maintain concentration, you just
It
keep
just
chugging
has
along.
it.
So you take
Exactly, which
like
is so
Warcaster
cool.
feat, so you get advantage on your concentration checks, and then that illithid power you're talking about, and then
Mm-hmm.
you have Shadowheart, the best girl, cast create
I was
water on the enemy that you hit with Witch Bolt, and they're taking double damage. It's so
Oh.
crazy.
Oh, I didn't even think about that because I do have a
Yeah.
staff that has create water on it because I am not running with the evil elf.
She's not even evil.
She's not, and I was about to. I told you.
Wait, you
Obviously,
run
it's
with a
been.
Starion, but
Yeah, I know. I run with the full elf, not the half elf. Exactly. Um, I told you at first. Obviously, it's been very well laid out on this podcast that I hate elves. Um, and at first, when I first saw Shadowheart, I was like, "This game gonna make me simp for an elf?" Because I feel like it's about to. I feel like it's about to make me do it. And then I found Demon Mommy, and then everything was fine. Everything was fine in the world. Vampire Twink, however, he's cool enough on his own that I don't care that he's an elf.
yeah.
He's not up there with Sabille yet. Maybe when his story progresses, we'll see. But he I like him. I like him so far.
I think there's a real case to be made for the characters of this game. They're just so well thought out, and they all have
Mm-hmm.
different personalities. And as soon as you can sort of uh, pinpoint what their personality is, you can figure out what actions they're gonna like and which ones they're not gonna like.
Yep,
And that's maybe one of the most fun parts of the game,
I agree.
especially early in the act or in the game.
Yeah, because
Um,
like my party is all good, and then Asterion also happens to be there. And every time I get
yeah,
the X approves and X disapproves, it's Karlak and Gale liked this. Asterion disliked this for like every fucking choice that I make, and it's like,
I
hey,
don't know if
sorry
you
you
know
don't
this.
like me, but you do so much damage. You're staying on the fucking team. I don't know what to tell you, my guy.
I don't know if you know this or not, but you should be trying to pump up his approval rating to keep him within like a fair standing, or else he might just leave.
Yeah, I kind of thought that. That's something I was actually just gonna say as well. I didn't know that he could leave, but I'm not surprised.
Any
I
character can
really,
leave if their disapproval gets low
yeah,
enough.
I like that you can be locked out of companions in this game, weirdly. Like they're without getting into like major spoilers, there's one of the followers. You find them pretty quickly, so it's not huge. You will either be able to recruit them or you will not be able to recruit them and have to fight them. Like it's very binary. I mean, I guess if you just didn't do that whole part of the main quest and just skipped over it, I suppose you wouldn't come into that issue. But like in theory, you're going to have to do that. And it was like, oh, cool. I like this character. This is interesting. Because that is one of the only things that I did look up was all of the playable NPCs and just to find what their class was. Because I knew I was going to respec my main character off of Warlock. Because it just, Eldritch Blast every turn just isn't my vibe.
Yeah, no, it gets kind of dull.
I knew I was going to respec off of it. And I went, well, let's not overlap classes with someone that I might want to bring into my party and like learn their story. So I looked it up and saw that monk, bard, and sorcerer are the
Yeah.
only classes that aren't covered by one of the. I think iconic's probably the wrong word, but I don't know what
No,
they're
you
actually
can use
called.
iconic, yeah.
Yeah, they're. So
I
I
think
was
that's
like,
what they
okay,
are.
that's why I went with monk over that because I was like, I want to be able to experience this and experience the classes of all of the playable characters in the game. But it's very interesting that you can lock yourself out of them. I really like that actually. I'm a little surprised that I like that because, as I said more up top, I like to be able to see all of the content in a game on like a first or one and a half playthrough of like, oh, I missed it, but like let me save and explore this pathway and then like decide which one I want to go between. I haven't done it too much in this game, but like I definitely am a save scum boy in a lot of games. I want
I
to
was
see
just gonna
my
ask.
options.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask. Like, do you save scum as much as I do? I
I
save scum the dialogue options for the party members more than I do anything
Yeah,
else. I will fail a quest and be like, damn, that sucks. Missed out on maybe like 200 XP there. But there's enough to make it up somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I just had in my solo playthrough, I just had a follower kill another one.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so happy that I saved beforehand because I could go back and see all the different ways that it would play out. And I ended up just going back to the one member killing the other one. That happened at the start.
One other thing that I want to talk about is the difference between the armor system specifically, which in a vacuum feels like a weird thing to call out because in general, how many kinds of armor systems are there in games? There's either like, if you're talking in Skyrim, you have a set defense value that actually, to be honest, I don't know how it works specifically in Skyrim. Is it like a DR?
So like,
I'm realizing I don't know how that works as I start to say it.
If you have an armor rating of a certain value, you take like a percentage less, and there's like a whole calculation to it. Right. But it's basically damage mitigation. So instead of taking full damage, if you have heavy armor, you'll take, call it half, and then light armor, you'll take 75%, and then no armor, you're taking full. That's sort of how it works.
Gotcha.
And then in this game, it's D&D armor class. If they beat your AC with a roll, then they hit you and you take full damage. And then Divinity Original Sin 2 has that.
It's the
wacky,
interesting one.
It's the wacky. You have a physical armor value, and they have to deplete that number. Mm-hmm. So it's like, let's say it's like another health bar. You have 73 physical armor. They have to deal 73 physical damage to you to start hitting your health pool. And then if they deal magic damage to you,
there's your physical and magic armor values. And not only is it just another health bar, you're definitely right on that, but it's also the added effect of, say I still have 20 magic armor up on my character, I can't be stunned, dazed, any of the like
on fire,
magical effects you can't apply to somebody until that respective armor is depleted completely. And I don't know why, but it's one of my favorite armor systems in video games. I've thought about ways to like bring that into a tabletop game and have it make sense and feel good. But it's weird to work with, but it works flawlessly in Divinity. Like, that's where you get into like, that's more so how you're building your characters of like, you have two different, in my opinion, you have two different schools of thought where you either go, okay, I'm going to be dealing all physical damage or all magic damage on all of my characters, or you're going to do a mix, because some people, like a caster, for instance, at the end of Divinity 2 might have like 500 or 600 magic armor, but they might only have like 70 physical armor. Like the numbers can get pretty low. So if you built the game in
it's based
all
on the armor type that you're using,
right. So you have to like, you kind of have to have both, but also you definitely want to be like spec'd into one a lot more, in my opinion. At least that's how I play it most of the time, at least.
Yeah, and if you used Sabile as a rogue, then you're familiar with chloroform.
Mm-hmm.
There's effects like that where you are only targeting the armor so that you can get to the CC and the negative effects of that particular, like you can knock people down then, or you can, stun them up or whatever it is.
Yeah, it was such an interesting system to work within, and like, I was definitely kind of hoping to see it in Baldur's Gate 3 just because I liked it so much in Divinity. I'm certainly not upset that they did it, because it wouldn't have felt quite right, to be honest, if that was the system for the Dungeons and Dragons game. But like, I just wanted a new game to play around with that system, and I didn't get it. But like,
I think both of us kind of, we really do enjoy Baldur's Gate for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Gets an A+ from me. But
Absolutely,
it
yeah.
also just makes me want another Divinity game that
For
has the
real.
amount of effort put into um, the inter-character relationships and like
Yeah.
the individual characters' stories that Baldur's
Hmm.
Gate does. Because with Divinity, you get their stories. Absolutely, you do.
Hmm.
But it's like huge story beat, nothing forever.
For like
Huge story beat,
for some of them,
nothing
it's like
forever.
for over an
An entire
act.
act, yeah.
I mean, literally, the Beast doesn't have a story beat. I think until he has one in Act Two. He has one midway through Act
Act
Two.
two
I
is when
forgot
his
about
story
that.
starts.
Starts,
It's
yeah,
crazy.
and then he doesn't have another story beat until the final act of the game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what his story is because I just don't use him realistically.
Yeah,
But
he's just
that's
angry at like a sister or cousin or some shit.
yeah, because like as I've already said, Divinity is one of my favorite games of all time. I couldn't really recount the story to you. I've beat it a couple times, but like this is where I'm curious with Baldur's Gate. I'm wondering if it's going to get to the point where I'm at in Divinity of Divinity is a combat simulator and it's one of my favorite ones. The combat in Divinity is the best part of Divinity, and I'd say it might be one of the best parts of Baldur's Gate as well, because I think Larian is really good at designing it. But like, I haven't read a line of dialogue in Divinity 2, and I couldn't tell you how long because I read it the first time I played through the game, and like, I remember enjoying the story, I think, but like, also, what was it? Bishop
Yeah,
Alexander wants to ascend to divinity, and you kill him, but then he's alive, but then you kill him, and then he's alive again. And like the void is taking over things, and you have source.
Yeah, and
And
you're
like that's
ascending
the
too.
story, right? Like
Yeah.
I fucking couldn't tell you. And
Yeah.
not only that, because I played in Divinity, it doesn't really tell you, because there are 6 iconic characters. 5.
Let's see. Los
Fane, Losa, Ifin, the Beast, Red
Red Prince.
Prince, Sabille. 6. There are 6
Yeah.
characters. Fane, the undead one, is objectively the main character of the story. Like, without a doubt. He is, like, when you get to the end of the game, or when you get to the end of Act 3 with him specifically, that's when you, like, really learn. That's where you really learn what the story is from having him on your party. And if he isn't actually your main character and he's just on the party, I'm guessing you probably miss a decent amount of dialogue because there are a couple encounters where you don't actually get to control your NPCs' dialogue options. It just happens automatically, which I don't inherently hate because I feel like it lets them play as they actually should, as they would based on their actual character, which is nice. But like, it doesn't even show you the option. Like, even if I didn't get to pick it, if it just like I got the text box of like reading through what they said, that would have been fine. But you just like miss out on a lot of dialogue. So you don't get as much of the story all the time, which leads to me not even really knowing what the story is in one of my favorite games. And I'm really wondering if Baldur's Gate will get there as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the story takes such a forefront in this game, whereas a lot of the combat can be washed up to I hit all of the ads with my fighter, and then the big guy, my wizard blast down, and my rogue sneak attacked him at the start. Mm-hmm. Or, like with your party, you will figure out a system.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, do you have anything else that you want to touch on about this game?
I don't think so, honestly. I think just the synopsis is we've really been enjoying it. It's been a great game. It's been a great experience so far. It's nice to see games come out finished in like launching in a decent state. I know there was like a decent patch note update, but like we're at the point where that's just default. But like there wasn't.
Yeah,
I haven't encountered any like game breaking glitches. There have been like a thing or two here. The thing that I'm really learning is that my PC is out of date because it's a little brutal to run this game at times, but I can tell that it's a my computer issue and not a game issue where like I'm sure I've mentioned it to you. Call of Duty Cold War runs like shit on my PC, but also games released 5 years after Cold War run buttery smooth. So that like that one
It's an
Activision
optimization
didn't give a fuck and
thing.
they didn't
Yeah.
optimize. But like
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate is very clearly a my PC specs aren't quite where they should be to run this game.
Yeah, and I think it's because they mocapped everything, and so
Oh, did they really? I didn't know that.
there's a lot of mocap that they did for all of like the scripted scenes and stuff like that with characters.
I'd say I'm not surprised thinking about it now that you say that. I just didn't even realize that because a lot of it does look really good.
Yeah, so anytime you're not in that top-down view, I'm almost positive that that was mocapped. So it's going to be
Mhm.
way harder on your system. Plus, you're
Yeah.
rendering a ton of things.
So many things all the time. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
which
yeah,
is great if your computer can handle it. But
exactly. But yeah, I think overall is just that we're Larian simps and
True.
they make for good reason. They make fantastic games. Even there's actually like 4 Divinity games when we talk about like Divinity because there's Divinity and then there's another one and then there's Divinity Original Sin and then there's Divinity Original Sin 2 if you didn't know that. There's actually like 4 games in the line.
Damn, I gotta go back and play all of them.
Exactly. But like they're all so quality. And like I don't know how big of a company Larian actually is like people wise, but like
Right.
their games are just incredible. Like that we've pointed out like a couple things that we're like minorly annoyed with in like a couple gripes here and there, but like overall the experience of their games is just like some of the best I've had in any game. Honestly, like they make incredible projects and I'm already excited to see what the next one is going to be.
Yeah, if Baldur's Gate doesn't actually win Game of the Year, I'm gonna
I'll
be shocked.
shocked. Yeah.
Like Zelda came out, and I was like,
Yeah.
"That's got to be Game of the Year 2023."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Well, Starfield is coming out later this
I'd
year.
say that's
that
the
could be
only
it."
thing that might take it in my
But,
mind
like,
if it reviews
just-
well enough.
The amount of time that has been put into Baldur's Gate 3 from the community already is insane.
Mm-hmm. It's just been so.
It's
good.
like 1,000+ years.
I believe that. I'm shocked that I haven't put more time into it myself, to be perfectly honest. I just haven't had the time to do it recently. That and the
So
RuneScape addiction is the most real thing that exists.
we
But
are
that's a
recording
separate
this.
point.
We're recording this episode September 2nd. On August 14th, GamesHub released a article that said Baldur's Gate 3 players spent 1,225 years in-game on launch weekend. The 2 days that it was out that weekend,
Holy shit.
1,200 years across the community was played.
I did see that it topped Hogwarts Legacy as not the most played game, but like Hogwarts Legacy was one of the chart toppers pretty much since it came out for like players on launch in Divinity, like or not Divinity, Baldur's Gate, like absolutely crushed it, which is very surprising to me, to be honest. Like, not that I didn't think that Baldur's Gate would do incredibly well, but doing better than the Harry Potter game,
yeah.
pretty fucking cool. But yeah,
Yes.
unless you have anything else to add, lastly, as well.
I just got one question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Act 1 of Baldur's Gate versus Act 1 of Divinity Original Sin 2. Which one?
So far, I would say Act 1 of Divinity.
Really?
I feel like my like maybe it's because it was the first time I had really played a Larian game, so like the expansiveness in like the interconnectivity of it like really shocked and floored me, where not that Baldur's Gate didn't, but it just didn't have that same hit to me of like Divinity 2. Once I like figured out all of the stuff, it felt like the Matrix opened before my eyes, and like I'm just having a great time in Baldur's Gate, which like perfect, that's what I wanted out of it. But like something just clicked with Divinity.
Yeah, so to me, Divinity Original Sin 2 Act 1 just feels like a dungeon. Yeah,
Agreed.
just the
I
entire
definitely
thing
agree
is a
with that,
dungeon,
yeah.
start to end.
Yes.
Whereas Baldur's Gate 3 feels like the prologue to the story.
Yeah,
Like
I
the
definitely
introduction.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would put Baldur's Gate 3 above it.
I understand that reasoning. All of Divinity's Act 1 really feels like a tutorial. Like it feels like a roughly 15-hour tutorial on your first playthrough. Like I'd say that's about an average. That feels not a bad number for your first time playthrough.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure both of us can clear it within 2 or 3 hours if we were like really trying. But like it definitely feels like every part of it is kind of like teaching you something new about the game. And like you're getting some story and like some dialogue and stuff throughout, but especially with the source mechanic of Act 1 is really unlocking source power. And that's what the whole point of Act 1 is. It's not like the story or the lore behind Source and how it works. It's just you have it, but you can't access it right now because of that collar around your throat. You should probably go fix that. And that's really what all Act 1 is, where I'm getting story in Baldur's Gate 3. I don't necessarily know where it's going to go yet, but I don't say that in a bad way. Like I'm not upset that I can't already predict where the crazy Mind Flayer story is going. I'd be a little upset if I could automatically pinpoint where it's going.
Yeah.
But like I have some ideas of like what might happen. All right, unless you have anything first, I have one last thing, which is the one thing that I am hoping to see in Baldur's Gate, the city. Because I haven't made it there yet.
Okay.
Did you ever play the Dark Alliance games back in the day?
Dark Alliance.
Yeah, it was a isometric hack and slash. It was on PS2 and GameCube. There were 2 games. It's a game that I love very, very dearly from my childhood. Back in, I think, the first couple years of college, or maybe the last year of high school, I actually sat down and like replayed it, because as a kid I was never able to beat it and would like use the cheats and get to the end and just kill the end boss because it was fun, max out all my characters and everything. But I was like, man, I really want to actually play this, and I sat down and beat the game, and it's one of my favorite gaming memories at this point. But it opens up in the Elf Song Tavern in Baldur's Gate. And I know that the Elf Song Tavern is there because I very briefly looked it up because I was curious enough. But there's a very specific song that plays in Dark Alliance. And I don't know if they will, but I'm really hoping that they use it there, because I'm going to drop you the link to it in a second. It's one of the like hauntingly beautiful songs that is like stuck in my head, is a very core memory from when I was a kid. And I just really hope that it's here in Baldur's Gate as well. I'm not sure if it will be, but I hope it is.
Well, I'll add something to that. I thought it was really cool. My first character that I've made like 7 or 8 now.
Mm-hmm.
The first character that I made was a bard, and you can just perform with their instrument.
Yeah.
And like 3 of the songs are from Divinity Original Sin.
That's great. Theme. I did see that, and it's really cool.
You have the main theme, you have the combat, and then you have one other one that's I can't remember what it is, but
also
just amazing.
On that note, the music in this game, oh my
10 out of
god,
10.
it's
10
so
out of
fucking
10.
good. The menu song is so high up there now on my just like video game music in general list.
Yeah,
They
it's good.
Larian crushes an OST
I
every game
follow
I've played.
I follow the vocalist on
Oh really?
TikTok for the menu song and the character
Mm,
creation song.
interesting. I might have to check him out.
Oh, her, yeah. I'll send her to you if I can find her on TikTok.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, with that, I think we've talked about everything we wanted to. I mean, it's really just been like our somewhat initial thoughts on the game. We knew we wanted to talk about it at some point, but we wanted to have a little bit more experience in like kind of know what we're talking about. We considered doing it when both of us were like 20 hours into the game, but like you can only know
If
so much
Yeah,
in
it
such an
didn't feel like enough.
expansive game. It's
Yeah.
like kind of tough, but now we have a little more time and like it's just been great. I've been telling people that haven't played it that I've talked about it with, if it's a game that you look at it and you think you might enjoy it, you're probably really, really going to enjoy it a lot. If you look at it and you go, that looks like a lot and it's probably a little annoying, I think you're probably not going to enjoy it as much. You obviously still could. I think it's a good enough game that it can carry through that. But like, if you even have an inclination that you might like this game, play it. It's incredible. It's so far one of my favorite games of this year. And there have been a lot of good games that came out this year.
Yeah, I'll second that.
It's just quality. If I
It's
had to
just
say one thing about it, it's a quality, polished game.
yeah.
But with that, we hope you have a great rest of your week, weekend, day, whenever you happen to be listening to this podcast. And we very much hope that you tune in to the next episode as well. And for now, I've been Ian.
I am always Tyler. Next time, we're going to talk about the romance options and why you should always choose Shadowheart.
Yeah, I know. You should always choose Karlak. I agree.